What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have Turbo Thralls for you. This is one of my favorite decks of all time. I love it. I've played it in the last two Mastering Runeterra $100 dailies. I'm going to play it again today. I'm going to play it again tomorrow. Deck is fantastic. It's been a bit of a tournament deck as of late because there's really good matchups against things like Darkness. It does okay until all the Demacia decks. It can still hold its own against some aggro stuff like Spiders. But it's also pretty decent into a lot of the mid-range Gnar decks that we've seen just like all over the place on the ladder right now. So the deck is definitely not your typical deck. It's much more of a sort of puzzle in that you kind of just have these different pieces that you need to put together at the right time. The very basic premise of the deck is that you get a frozen thrall either via just the actual landmark or Lissandra or succumb to the cold. I think those are the only ways that you can get them in this deck. Yeah. So you get one of them down. If you don't know, when it counts down, you get an 8/8 overwhelm thrall. And then what you're trying to do is typically cast Promising Future so that you'll get 2 thralls. This will level your Lissandra, which is great, and also generally beat down your opponent's face because you're attacking with 6 power worth of overwhelm damage. The other way to copy is to count one down quite low and then copy with Taliyah. And then the dream, what you would ideally like to have happen every single game is that you Promising Future onto one, count it down close to being ready to pop, and then Taliyah it so that you get 4 thralls. And this might sound like, okay, like Magical Christmas Land, like sure, you just need all these cards and count them down before you die, but it's actually not that difficult to do at all with the deck. You have a lot of cards that draw you cards, like Preservarium, or that predict, like Time in a Bottle, which is perfect for this deck, literally made for it. It advances the landmark, the frozen thrall, down 2, and then also you predict to go try and find the pieces that you need. You've got Clockwork Curator that also helps you speed them up. Imagine Possibilities, again, speeds up your landmarks as well. One thing to note is that a lot of these, like Imagine Possibilities and Time and Bottle, are focus speed, so oftentimes you'll be able to cast them on your frozen thrall, make the thralls an attack immediately so that your opponent can't use any slow speed removal on them. It's a big perk of this deck. And then you also have Taliyah. When she's leveled, she hits so hard. She deals so much damage. So not only is she making more thralls and also protecting you from things like Falling Comet or Scorched Earth that are trying to blow up your landmarks, because now you have extra copies. But she also hits like a Mack truck. She's a freaking 4/6 that deals a bunch of damage even if they block her. She's fantastic. And then Clock Hand is also very important in this deck. It a lot of times you'll make a couple thralls, maybe your opponent will start to deal with them, and then what'll happen is you'll drop a Clock Hand and you can make 1 or 2 more thralls, which often finishes the game by itself, but also times will be enough to get the Watcher out, is something that tends to happen. Typically when you've played 8 or 5 8-drops, a lot of times the Watcher is kind of overkill, but sometimes you need it, and it just seals the deal. And then, of course, you play a bunch of Area of Effect spells like Avalanche, Boiler Ravine, Ice Shard to hold off your opponent's attacks, pressure. And then you also have Three Sisters, which is really fantastic as a catch-all. A lot of times you'll use Furry of the North to save a unit or push more damage as your units have Overwhelm. Flash Freeze to stay alive, kill their stuff. Entomb's great as well. You can entomb a unit that's blocking your Overwhelm unit and then push the damage through to them. Or just take a troublesome unit off the board for a while, like a leveled Gnar or a Lee Sin. I think that's pretty much it. So, yeah, that's the majority of the deck. Succumb the Cold, offers protection, then also gives you a Frozen Thrall. It's a relatively new addition to the deck. So basically, as we're jumping to the games here, what we're looking for is you got to find something first that produces a Frozen Thrall. You really can't keep a hand with 0 frozen Thrall. You could maybe keep something like a Preservarium or Time in a Bottle. I would keep probably Preservarium because it draws you 2 cards. Unless you're playing against like something super aggressive, you don't really have the time. Then you have to maybe mulligan for other things. But pretty much, yeah, find the landmark. Once you have that, then you're trying to find Taliyah or the spell that doubles the landmark, which I'm terrible with the names, the 4-mana one. And then once you have those, then you start looking for Taliyah and things that count down the Thrall faster. Let's see, Lurk. I haven't played against Lurk in a while. I think this matchup's okay, but I mean, like, Lurk just high rolls you sometimes. We're on the place. That's fantastic against Lurk. Okay, so we have Lissandra. That is the ideal Thrall maker. So we can get rid of the Succumbs, and I think we'll throw Taliyah back too, because now we're looking for the spell that copies, makes more Thralls. And then also things like, we need like at least 1 avalanche effect. Because, you know, if you played against Lurk, they just have a bunch of small units that become very large and hit you for a bunch of damage very quickly. So Imagine Possibilities is like, this card's really not very good. Advancing your landmarks by 1 is just not particularly impressive, but it's kind of like just not a lot of other options. Okay, so this is great. They don't have any lurkers turn 1 or 2.
When we look ahead, we know how to
so yeah, we're just gonna take this and then we'll play our Lissandra on 3, and then we can eat a fish. We should have been paying attention there if the Rek'sai was on top. I don't think it was. If you don't know, I'll point it out when it comes back, but the little Lurk animation has like extra lightning and stuff in it, and I think purple as well as blue if there's a Rek'sai on top. Let's see, can we get a cheeky attack in here? What would happen? They put 1 damage onto our Lissandra. Try to think any spells that they have. Yeah, alright. I'm in for it. So as you can see here, you know, there's a good chance our opponent's just not going to block, right? Because it's not really doing a whole lot if they block, and they're just not going to be very wide. They can't push as much damage. So either they take 2 damage, which is very relevant. It might not seem like it, but, you know, if we have 2 8/8 overwhelms, well, it's only 16 damage. And so, like, you need a little bit more to try and finish them off in, you know, 1 turn. So if you can get free damage in, take it. And if they were to block, we're pretty okay with that. Wow, this avalanche is going to blow them out. We're pretty okay with that because now they you know, if they open, they're only opening with 2 units. So we just block 1 and it's fine. We're barely taking any damage. Super happy about that. Yeah, we just have to avalanche here. I'm like trying to think if we could get like extra greedy, you know, play something out, because they'll probably play more units out. But if we don't avalanche here, they're just attacking. They're just going to attack with this 4 units. That's just too much because they can't extend even further into avalanche. Okay. So now I think we're just passing. Just trying to get through this turn with taking minimal damage. That kind of sucks. I mean, it's not the end of the world. We still have to trade with something. If they miss Lurk, though, we, like, got them. So hopefully they miss Lurk. Don't do that too often. We can't really protect Lissandra. It's also kind of okay. We don't really care too much about Lissandra dying here. I think we just go, yep. So, yeah, this Blighted Ravine's going to mop up pretty well. We will take a decent amount of damage right here, though. Miss Lurk 1 time. Come on. Come on, be cool. Oh my gosh, they miss Lurk. Oh, that's so huge. It's unfortunate, though. Like, we still kind of have to Blighted Ravine. We'll take it. We'll take it. So, I mean, they only had 2 cards left in hand. Like, we were going to Blighted Ravine, wipe their board. They draw a card, but, like, you know, with the 3 sisters in hand, that's going to deal with something. We had another freeze in hand. Like, we were probably winning that game. We still needed, like, I mean, we were gonna have a lot of draws. We still needed, you know, like 1 piece or 2 pieces or something. But like that game was looking very, very good for us. Also, them missing Lurk is just like, what a beating. All their Lurk things are just so small now that like it's, you know, they play one that has like 3 power. We're like, I don't even freeze it now. Like it's so small. Who cares? We just hold on to our removal for a while. So that was maybe a better example. I mean, you got to see the Thrall deck work a little bit. You got to see what happens when you low roll with Lurk. I hate getting high rolled by Lurk. Everyone does. But, you know, I don't hate Lurk as a deck because that happens, I don't know, an equal amount of time, but also happens very often. Okay, Ziggs Taliyah. This is like the crazy, like they have all the crazy landmark pump and stuff with, let's see, what's it called? Like Unleashed Energy. It's like 3 mana burst, sacrifice a landmark, gives something +4/+2. So they just like go off on you. And they give like Ziggs, they give their unit like Overwhelm with Absolver, just blow you up for a bunch of damage. So it makes, so we're keeping the Lissandra for sure. Let's see. I think we're gonna throw back to Avalanche. Definitely 1 Three Sisters. It makes me want to keep 1 Three Sisters so badly, but the thing is, like, we can still draw into those cards later. And if we're not proactively advancing our game plan of making a bunch of giant thralls, then we just give them so much time to find all the cards that they need and to kill us.
Oh, would you look at this place?
Yeah. Okay, so those are the Three Sisters anyway. Unfortunately, though, we don't have any of the really important cards that we want. So now we have to decide if we want to play our Lissandra out to get the Thrall counting down, and then also give it vulnerable, or if we just want to play out this Tavern Keeper and pop the Roiling Sands now. It's close. I'm pretty sure we just want to get this going.
Secrets.
The other thing is that, you know, like if they pull with their Rockhopper onto a Lissandra, they'll have to pump it to kill it because it has tough, which would allow us to do something like Ice Shard or freeze it. So if they grab with a Ziggs, we still get to do 2 to the Ziggs, and then like our Avalanche or Blighter Ravine will kill it. So having the Lissandra,
I've never tried this chemical before.
here I'm not attacking as we did in the last game because they have so much pump. Oh, okay, so just gonna take her out right now. Boop. Yeah, that's fine. This Ice Shard's gonna be fantastic if they just decide to open. And if they develop, then we get to Avalanche them. So we're in an okay spot here. Claw can, okay. There's a promising future. That's what we wanted. That was a card name that I couldn't remember. Let's see what they decide to do. A Ziggs we don't want to see. Anything with 2 toughness we're fine with. An open we're fine with. Boop. Get them. You have to be very careful about when you're counting down your Thralls. When I first started playing this deck, and I think a lot of people do this, you just start counting them down, like just like turbo counting them down as fast as possible, but you don't want to do that until you have a promising future that you can get onto it. 1 Thrall is not really killing anyone. 1 Thrall is not impressive at all. So let's map out our mana here. This will put it to 5. On our turn, it will go to 4. Yeah, I think we just pass. Because there's a good chance we'll slow Blighter Ravine or Avalanche, then it's possible we can get one of those off before we play the Curator so that we can keep it alive. Preservarium, okay. Do they have... Oh. Do they have ways of killing... They do. They play Desert Naturalist. Okay. I forgot that they play Desert Naturalist, so they can blow up our Thrall. So we want to wait to cast the Promising Future until we can, like, count it down safely, basically. I think we're just going to pass here again. We don't really need to do anything. We're not in a hurry. They're the aggro deck.
Come on, there's so much to see.
Well, that doesn't suck. Just gonna draw a metric poop ton of cards. We would love our own Taliyah so that we could copy this Frozen Thrall, because it's the only one we have currently, unfortunately.
Welcome to the tipsy.
We'll just get a Tavern Keeper down right now. You can also do really cute things where, like, you can Blighter Ravine, and then they'll be like, oh, it's not going to pop until next turn. Let's, like, put some units out and get them, and then you can imagine possibilities, or Clockwork Curator, or the bottle. Was it time in a bottle to pop it like immediately? That is a lot of cards. They've drawn exactly 1 million cards, and we keep drawing Blighter Ravines. This is very bad for us. Let's see. We can count down by 3. Imagine possibilities and Curator. So yeah, we're in a not fantastic spot currently.
I just can't wait! Here we go!
We're just gonna block
This'll
and
be a
then
blast!
3 Sisters. Anything that gets pumped up too much. So our win con now is kind of like,
Taliyah, watch out! Oh my goodness! Together, we are stronger than stone.
we have to hope.
Faster than the wind.
Well, okay, so level Taliyah also very bad for us. Maybe we can play the Curator out now just to block.
What a shame for you!
I always forget about that thing. I think we still would make this play, but
Turn the stones.
I was thinking, what, they drag it? Oh yeah, Ziggs deals 2 now, right?
Some rocks just won't sit still.
Interesting. Okay, so the block here, we're taking 10 from Taliyah though, which is not ideal. So we could just entomb her. They're only taking 2 this turn. But they will have her back next turn. Oh, they play right. No. They only have 3 mana. Ah, I see. Okay. Alright. Well, we only take 2 damage, so that's decent.
My board!
But we are in a bit of trouble now. Yeah, alright, so we screwed up last turn. I think. So we could have gone Promising Future onto the Frozen Thrall and blocked a little bit differently and taken more damage. But we didn't know we were going to draw Time in the Bottle. And if we don't draw it, it's kind of unfortunate. So now we're in a pickle. I don't think one. So we could just count this down right now. Have 1 Thrall. I don't think 1 Thrall is going to do it though. They have 8 cards in hand. I don't think it's happening. So I think we just need to YOLO and hope they don't have the Desert Naturalist. Yeah, they have it.
There was something good to see.
Womp.
Sing me the song of the rock dubs.
And now we die. So we could have passed. We could have passed and hoped that they... I mean, they're probably just Desert Naturalisting anyway, but at least then we're not losing our Promising Future.
Light the feud.
Throw another rock.
We really wanted to Taliyah this game. But yeah, I think we needed to gamble. The last turn, we needed to cast the Promising Future, just gamble that we just drew one of these. So I fucked that up. Let's see, what can we do here? If we freeze her, this is 6, 7, 8. Oh my gosh, so much. We just do this. This works also. Yeah, so freezing her doesn't save us. We have to entomb her again, which is super annoying because then she doesn't take any damage from like our Blighter Ravine or Avalanche. All right, yeah, we're dead. Yeah, so I needed to that turn take more damage, like freeze something, but Promising Future, and then just YOLO our top deck. Okay, up against Scouts. Rogera crashed for a second. Sorry about the blip there. So Scouts is one of the tougher matchups. It's quite difficult. But we're gonna give it our best. So we're gonna keep one Lissandra for sure, and throw Taliyah away. Avalanche. The problem is their guys have all gotten so much bigger now. Oof. Alright, I'm gonna keep the Avalanche. The problem is that like Avalanche doesn't do a whole lot, but if you just don't have an Avalanche, they also you just get run over sometimes. So
As fast as I could. Keep moving.
we will try our best. We basically just kind of have to hope that they don't have a really strong draw. So no true drop.
Discipline and steel.
This guy being a 3/4 now is kind of a beating. So I think we go Lissandra down.
Looms on the horizon.
We could totally block here and then make our Avalanche good. They're basically saying they don't have a sharp sight because they didn't come with this Penitent Squire.
You cannot fight the code.
I wouldn't normally make this block, but I'm trying to switch things up a little bit here because playing them straight up doesn't tend to get there. So I kind of like this. We can also technically heal her back up with a Tavern Keeper. So they kind of have to come to us, so we could just pass here. Like, they just take this pass. I think that's good for us.
To me.
Okay, so they're set up for a pretty solid for Demacia. Which we're not too afraid of. Just guys is fine. It's when scouts start hitting, champs start hitting. That's when things are a little bit harder. But I mean, these Fort Demacias hit really hard, so let's go do a little digging. There you go. There's a promising future.
Ice is melting.
Okay, pass it back to them. See what they do. Immediately back to us. So it's going to go 4 on their turn. We're going to bring it 2, 1 on our turn. Still not popping just yet. So I think we go here.
Come on in.
Seems pretty solid. Okay. We could even get an attack in here with our Tavern Keeper. So they block here. Alright, we'll ship it. There's a promising future. There's the Fort Demacia. Okay, well, we at least got an Ice Shard off to kill that scout. And then let's see. Do we want a Tavern Keeper? I mean, we're just chump blocking, so it's kind of like... I think we go here, so that... 2, 1... And also, I mean, if we're going to chump block something, we'd rather chump block with 2-2. This is the kind of scout draws that I have. Like, this is like such a rough draw. And I mean, like, in some matchups, you kind of just have to... You just play your best and hope that they don't high roll you. That's all you can do. And sometimes you get them. We go here and here. Take 1 extra damage. Or maybe, sorry, maybe we go we go here and here.
Let's talk about your dad.
See if this 1 extra damage comes back to bite us. Easily could. Oh no. Oh, we need 1 more mana. Shoot, I didn't even prepare for this. So, this is pretty rough. We do have 8 mana though, so we could go Avalanche into Promising Future. So yeah, let's do that. Or sorry, let's go Promising Future here so that they can't pass. And now hopefully develop something that gets wrecked by Avalanche. That doesn't exactly get wrecked by Avalanche, but it'll do. Since they have a Demacia coming up, let's just try to clear the board. Yeah, nice. And so now the 2 Thralls will pop up. We'll level up Lissandra.
Every way is a path.
We'll be looking okay.
Succumb.
Oh, Chip, what's up, bud?
I am Iceborn.
You're on the wrong side. Come over here. Chip's our guy.
Embrace the cold.
Another Avalanche doesn't suck. So the Demacia is not particularly good here.
Nothing gets between me and my mark.
We'll find our enemies.
I think this is an easy Avalanche. Just clear that board right out. Okay. So they can kill Lissandra. Happens.
You'll pay.
Let's see. On our turn, we'll have 8 mana. I'm trying to think if I want to heal one of these, or if we just heal ourselves. It's close. Tell me in the comments, what would you guys do here? Would you heal a Thrall, or do you heal our left Thrall? I think they're both relevant. Ooh, Succumb to the Cold was fantastic. It was such a good draw. So now I'm deciding if I want to jam this clock hand right now, or if we just want to rumble. Yeah, I think we just attack.
Fool do not doubt.
Okay. Move 5.
Show them what we're made of.
Cythria's big. Clockhand's bigger. So So now we can succumb to the cold slipping, make another 8/8, and still use 3 sisters. I think we just do nothing here. Because we're probably going to see a 4 Demacia. Maybe. Yeah, cool. And we'll probably just like see a concession after this. So this is like maybe the worst matchup. It's one of the worst matchups for sure. And as you can see, like, you know, Scouts is a very draw dependent deck, as they all are, you know. But that's what makes the game so good, is that you're never just like 100% winning, not even close. So you just have to play your cards all the time, like the best you can. And you know, I see people give up so quickly. They're like, "Oh, Scouts! Oh, it's over. It's done," and they get flustered, and it's just like, you know, they're just like are giving up the game. Or even if it's just in a really bad situation, like, "Oh, it's over." I was doing a coaching session recently, and we got like blown out by some random card, and the person I was coaching was like, "Oh yeah, we're just done here, right?" I was like, "No, like what? We're still fighting." And we ended up winning the game with like 0 cards left in our deck or something crazy like that, with this massive comeback, because I think we were playing Ari Kennen, and the deck's insane, right? So we were able to like pull our way back out of it. Okay, so back to the game though. I guess we just passed, right? They have to attack. What are they gonna do? Not attack? Okay, that's cool. So yeah, all right. I guess we just succumb this. Yeah. We were gonna make another Thrall. Game was Blickmoth still had these. Okay, well, there you have it. This is Turbo Thralls. As you can see, it's a very powerful deck, does very powerful things. It's, if you're looking to play in tournaments, it's great. On the ladder, it's okay. It's all right, but there's a lot of just weird, wonky stuff out there that might get you, but you get a lot of other people oftentimes too. If the format ever evolves into a place where like Darkness is really popular, and a lot of the more of the mid-range decks, like I think you're pretty good into like Akshan, I think is an okay matchup. Not like fantastic by any means, but a lot of times you can just kind of bully them. Depends on the list and the player. What else is good? Tree is pretty good. A lot of the Gnar decks have been okay. The combo-y action Gnar one is a little bit more difficult. You do have ways to like pop spell shield and deal with stuff, but that deck hits real hard, real fast. But yeah, a lot of the other Gnar decks you can deal with. Even decks that have landmark removal in the main, you just be very careful about when you're actually casting a Promising Future and try to Taliyah copy. Be very careful when you're counting down your Frozen Thrall. Just be very strategic about it. So landmark removal isn't even really that scary. Decks like Spiders, Pirates can really just depend. You gotta lean on your AoE effects. Lee Sin Zoe, if you're running into stuff like that, which you don't on the ladder too much, but you can combat them. It's close. But you've got a lot of freeze effects, a lot of entombs. The matchup ends up being very, very close typically, where you make a bunch of Thralls and they level up Lee, and it just becomes a game of like who kind of has the most answers. That happens a lot. Those games tend to be really fun. But yeah, like I said, this is one of my favorite decks. It's quite good. It's solid on the ladder. Not the best, not the worst. I think it's a tournament dark horse all the time, because a lot of the top players, a lot of the top lineups have Tree or Darkness in them, and you are quite good into those. So yeah, there you have it. As always, we are holding $100 daily tournaments at 7 p.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday. Check out masteringtarot.com for more info. And as always, keep a learning mindset, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.